Ori, stop cleaning the mats for a minute. Did you hear?
Hear what?
Shinshuro. He's coming here. Today, the Central Temple Network is sending him for the regional demonstration.
Ori's hands pause mid-rap. This gets his attention.
Shuro? Here?
Power level 982. The youngest fighter to ever reach Masterclass certification. They say he's never even been touched in a sanctioned match.
Nobody's untouchable, Genta.
Dude, seriously. This is Shinshuro we're talking about. His Autumn Leaf Kata scored perfect 10s at the International Championships. Perfect 10s.
Quietly, almost to himself.
Do you think I'll ever move like that?
Sitting up, enthusiastic.
Are you kidding? Sensei Lusk says you have natural talent. With proper development, he thinks you could reach power level 500 someday.
Testing his hand wraps, frustrated.
But when I practice the forms, every movement feels wrong. Like I'm lying with my body.
That's just because you're still growing into them. The forms are ancient wisdom, Ori. They feel unnatural at first, because they're teaching you to move beyond your instincts.
Ori walks to the window, looking out at the academy grounds where early students are practicing forms in perfect synchronization.
But what if my instincts are right? What if the forms are the lie?
Ori, you can't think like that. Instructor Lusk has been training for 30 years. The paperline methodology has been refined over centuries. You think your gut feelings are more reliable than that?
I don't know. But when I watch Shuro's demonstrations, it's beautiful, but it doesn't feel like something that would actually help if someone wanted to hurt me.
That's exactly the problem. You're thinking about hurting people instead of perfecting yourself. The forms aren't about violence. They're about transcending violence through perfect technique.
Ori turns from the window. There's something in his expression, self-doubt mixed with stubborn questioning.
But what's the point of transcending violence if you can't handle violence?
You're missing the philosophy, man. When you reach Shuro's level, you don't need to handle violence, because your presence alone deters it. Perfect technique creates perfect confidence, which creates perfect peace.
And you believe that?
I believe in the system that's produced 3 centuries of masters. Your problem isn't the forms, Ori. It's that you're not trusting the process.
A long pause. Genta studies his friend's face.
When did you start doubting everything?
I'm not doubting everything. Just questioning whether I'm built for this kind of perfection.
Nobody's built for it. That's why it's called development. You grow into the forms, and they grow you into something better than you were.
What if they're growing me into something that isn't me?
Genta shakes his head, grinning.
Well, you'll get your answer today. Because when Shuro demonstrates, you're going to see what 300 years of refined technique looks like when it's performed by someone who's dedicated his entire life to perfection.
Performed. Yeah.
Stop being weird about this. Just try to appreciate what we're going to witness, okay? How many people get to see a power level 900+ fighter in person?
Ori nods, but his expression suggests he's thinking about something else entirely.
You're right. It'll definitely be educational.
The morning bell rings across the academy grounds. Students can be heard moving through hallways, preparing for the day's training.
Come on. If we get to the hall early, we might get front row seats for the demonstration.
He heads for the door, then pauses.
And Ori? Try to look impressed when he does something impossible. It's considered respectful.
Genta exits. Ori remains by the window watching students practice their forms in the courtyard below. Their movements are beautiful, synchronized, perfect. And somehow that perfection bothers him more than he can articulate.
Respectful.
He finishes adjusting his training gear and heads toward the door, but pauses at a small mirror by the entrance. For a moment, he studies his own reflection.
What if perfect isn't the point?
Paperline Academy.
Students of Paperline Academy, today we are honored by a visit from the Central Temple Network's most distinguished representative.
Murmurs of excitement ripple through the assembled students.
A practitioner who has achieved what few in our generation will ever approach, perfect harmony between technique and philosophy. Please welcome Master Shinshuro, power level 982.
Applause erupts as Shinshuro, 22, tall, graceful, moving like liquid precision, enters from a side door. He wears a pristine white gi, with subtle gold trim. Every step is purposeful, every gesture economical. He stops at the center of the platform and bows deeply to the assembly. The applause dies instantly.
Fellow practitioners of the martial way.
His gaze sweeps across the students, somehow making each feel individually acknowledged.
I understand that many of you will be testing today for advancement within your chosen discipline. This is a moment of great significance.
Ori leans forward slightly. Something about Shiro's presence commands attention without demanding it.
When you step onto the mat for your examination, you carry with you not just your individual preparation, but centuries of accumulated wisdom. Every form you perform echoes the movements of masters who came before you. Every technique you demonstrate continues an unbroken chain of knowledge passed from teacher to student across generations.
Jinta glances at Ori, whose expression is completely focused on Shiro's words.
You should feel proud, not of your current abilities which are still developing, but of your connection to something far greater than any individual achievement. The traditional martial arts are not about creating warriors, they are about creating complete human beings.
He moves to the center of the platform, settling into a stance that appears casual, but somehow suggests coiled energy.
Perfect technique is not the goal. Perfect technique is the path. Through disciplined practice of movements that have been refined over centuries, we refine ourselves. We learn patience, respect, humility, and the kind of confidence that comes not from defeating others, but from mastering our own limitations.
The hall is absolutely silent. Even the instructor staff appears transfixed.
So, when you test today, remember, you are not just demonstrating your skills, you are honoring everyone who preserved this knowledge so that you could receive it. Be proud of that responsibility. Be worthy of that legacy.
He bows again, this time to the students themselves.
Now, I will demonstrate the autumn leaf kata as performed according to Central Temple Network standards.
Shiro moves to the exact center of the platform. For a moment, he is perfectly still. Then he begins. The kata is extraordinary. Each movement flows into the next with mathematical precision, but somehow maintains the organic grace that gives the form its name. His techniques are sharp when they need to be sharp, soft when they need to be soft, powerful when they need to demonstrate power. Ori watches with a mixture of awe and something else, a growing weight in his chest. The kata builds to a series of complex combinations, spinning kicks that somehow maintain perfect balance, hand techniques that blur the line between striking and dancing, evasions that make it seem like Shiro exists slightly outside normal physical space. For the finale, Shiro performs a technique that defies explanation, a jumping spinning combination that involves 3 different kicks, delivered at different heights while airborne, landing in a perfect defensive stance. The hall erupts in applause. Students leap to their feet, some wiping away tears of inspiration. Ori remains seated, clapping politely but clearly troubled.
Did you see that final combination? I've never seen anyone move like that.
Neither have I.
You should feel inspired. If dedicated practice can produce that level of perfection.
How do I even begin to get from where I am to that?
You heard what he said. Perfect technique is the path, not the goal. You just keep training, keep improving, keep trusting the process.
But what if I'm missing something fundamental? What if there's something about this that I'll never understand?
On the platform, Shiro has finished acknowledging the applause and is speaking quietly with Instructor Lusk.
Ori, stop. You're psyching yourself out. Every master started where you are.
Did they? Did they all feel like every movement was fighting against something inside them?
Maybe that's exactly what they felt. Maybe that resistance is what you're supposed to overcome.
Ori looks back at Shiro, who is now moving through the crowd, offering individual encouragement to students. When he reaches their section, Shiro makes brief eye contact with Ori.
Trust the process. The forms will teach you what you need to know, when you need to know it.
It's clearly meant to be encouraging, but Ori's expression suggests the words have landed differently than intended.
Yes, master.
Shiro moves on. Jinta turns to Ori, concerned by his friend's obvious distress.
See? He could tell you needed to hear that. Even someone at his level recognizes your potential.
Ori could tell I don't belong here.
Ori, wait.
But Ori is already moving toward the exit, his shoulders carrying a weight that wasn't there when the demonstration began. The applause continues around them, but for Ori, the sound has become distant, irrelevant. He has 3 hours until his test. 3 hours to somehow transform his doubt into the kind of confidence that might earn him advancement in a system that suddenly feels impossibly distant from anything he understands about himself. Students stretch and practice forms in small groups. Ori sits alone in a corner, mechanically going through hand-wrapping motions, his movements automatic but his mind clearly elsewhere. The weight of perfection presses down on him like a physical thing. Ori sits with other testing candidates, mats arranged in precise squares, senior instructors at evaluation tables.
Remember, sequence 2C, step slide evade, redirect to inner wrist, hip rotation counter palm,
Step slide, evade, redirect, hip rotation.
and breathe. You always hold your breath during tests.
Instructor Lusk approaches with a clipboard.
Spoke Ori Krell. You're up.
Ori stands, walks to center mat. A challenger waits.
Formal challenge notice. Spoke Ori Krell will represent Winterline methodology against Form 3 Scissor Doctrine.
Ori settles into stance. Weight on back foot, hands relaxed. The challenger bows. Ori returns the bow.
Let flow meet edge and form meet form.
The paper bends. The force is misdirected.
They take positions one step apart. The challenger settles into Form 3 positioning. Ori mirrors with Winterline's defensive wedge. The challenger moves, a diagonal edge cut from the hip, rising clean and fast. The strike lands across his ribs with a controlled slap. Ori drops to one knee. Silence. Lusk steps forward.
Form 3, Variation 2, complete.
Ori remains on one knee. The challenger helps him to his feet, bows, withdraws. Ori stands alone on the mat.
You may return to your seat.
Ori walks back. Other students avoid eye contact.
What happened? You knew that sequence perfectly.
I did know it
Then why didn't you execute?
because it felt wrong.
Wrong how?
Like I was being asked to speak a language I don't understand.
Ori, it's not supposed to feel like your language yet. You grow into the forms until they become natural.
What if they never become natural for me?
Then you keep practicing until they do.
What if there's something wrong with me?
There's nothing wrong with you. You hesitated. You'll test again in 3 months.
Jinta, when you perform the kata, do you feel like yourself?
What do you mean?
Do the movements feel like they're coming from you? Or do you feel like you're copying someone else?
I feel like I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be. The forms are teaching me to be better than my instincts.
But what if your instincts are right?
Ori, your instincts are why you failed just now.
Ori walks alone across the grounds, training bag over one shoulder. Other students move past in small groups. Ori's path leads away from the dormitories, away from everything that once defined his world. Outer District streets, evening. TESS, 25, artist's paint-stained fingers, observant eyes, sits on a fire escape sketching the street scene below. She watches Ori's pattern with growing interest. Ori slumps against a wall, slides down to sit on the pavement. He stares at nothing. Tess climbs down the fire escape, approaches slowly.
You hungry?
What?
I watched you check 3 different food stands. Either you're very particular about noodles or you're counting coins.
I'm fine.
Right. That's why you're sitting on a sidewalk in the outer district looking like someone stole your life.
She sits down next to him, uninvited.
Let me guess. Traditional school?
How did you...
The way you carry yourself. Perfect posture even when you're miserable. The GI bag. The look on your face like everything you believed just turned out to be wrong.
You seem to know a lot about traditional schools.
I know someone who went through the same thing you're going through.
Which is what, exactly?
Discovering that perfect technique doesn't mean perfect truth.
Ori looks at her more carefully.
Are you a fighter?
Artist, but I live with one. He has that same look you've got right now. Had it when I first met him anyway.
What look?
Like you just realize the map you've been following leads to the wrong destination.
She stands, brushes off her jeans.
There's a place about 6 blocks from here. Unmarked door, black metal, usually propped open with a brick. If you're serious about finding something real instead of something pretty, that's where you want to go.
What kind of place?
The kind where they don't care about your belt color or your power level, they care about whether you can learn.
Learn what?
How to stop lying to yourself about what fighting actually is.
She turns to leave, then pauses.
Oh, and there's usually food, real food, not ceremonial tea and meditation crackers.
Why are you telling me this?
Because 15 years ago, someone like you was sitting exactly where you're sitting, asking exactly the same questions. And if he hadn't found that gym, he'd probably still be sitting here.
What's his name?
Mason. Mason Arlow. 6 blocks north, black door with a brick. Tell them Tess sent you if they ask. But they probably won't ask. They'll just watch you move and decide if you're serious.
How will they know if I'm serious?
They'll know.
She walks away, leaving Ori alone on the sidewalk. He looks north, toward whatever she's directing him to. Then he looks back toward the Academy district, visible in the distance with its clean lights and ordered buildings. Ori stands, picks up his bag, and starts walking north. Mason's gym. Night. Ori steps through the doorway. The space is stark. Black rubber mats, cracked mirror held with duct tape, chain link cage along one wall. A single heavy bag sways slightly. Mason, 30s, compact, functional muscle, stands beside a hot plate in the corner, stirring something in a small pan. He wears faded sweatpants and a tank top. No ceremony, no uniform. He doesn't look up when Ori enters.
Door's open. Doesn't mean you're invited.
Tess said I should come here.
Tess says a lot of things.
Mason continues cooking. The smell of garlic and oil fills the space.
Is this a gym?
It's a place.
Do you teach?
Depends what you want to learn.
Ori sets down his bag, looking around the space. No trophies, no certificates, no ranking charts.
I want to learn how to fight.
No, you don't.
I don't?
You want to learn how to feel like the forms make sense. How to stop your body from arguing with your brain every time you move.
Mason turns off the burner, faces Ori for the first time.
You want to learn why perfect technique feels like a lie.
How do you know that?
Because you're standing in my gym instead of celebrating your advancement.
Mason moves to a striking dummy in the corner. Crude, held together with duct tape, and weighted with dumbbell plates.
Show me Form 3 response. The one you couldn't do today.
How did you...
Show me.
The dummy swings its mechanical arm through a diagonal slash. Ori positions himself, settles into Winterline stance. The attack comes. Ori begins the prescribed response, step slide evade, redirect to inner wrist, then stops mid-movement.
I can't.
Why?
It feels wrong.
Wrong how?
Like I'm lying.
Mason nods, resets the dummy.
Watch.
The dummy attacks again. Mason doesn't use any prescribed response. He simply steps forward and jabs the dummy in the face. Pop! The dummy's head snaps back. The arm drops limp.
That's not the right response.
No, it's just the one that works.
Mason walks back to his food, begins transferring eggs onto a plate.
You hungry?
Yes.
Sit.
Ori sits on a low bench. Mason hands him a plate. Overcooked eggs, plain rice, no ceremony.
What style is that?
None.
I mean, what line? It looked like a disrupt counter from an edge compression variant, but your stance was closed-footed.
It's not from anything. I just jabbed the thing in the face.
But that doesn't answer the vector. The slash comes in diagonally. If you jab midline, you're open to follow-up attacks.
Mason takes a bite of egg, chews thoughtfully.
You think people stop fighting when you answer them correctly?
I think if you move in alignment with proper form, you protect your center line and maintain control of the engagement.
Yeah, that's why I don't teach like that.
Then what do you teach?
How not to get hit.
That's it?
Do you think people stop fighting when you answer them correctly?
You asked that already.
Because you didn't answer.
Ori sets down his fork, considers the question seriously.
I think if you move the right way at exactly the right time, with perfect form and flawless execution, the other guy should fall down.
Should? Yeah.
Mason stands, walks to the cage, begins wrapping his hands.
You think he'll thank you for the lesson?
What?
When you answer him correctly, you think he falls down and thanks you for showing him proper technique?
That's not the point.
Then what is the point?
Ori looks around the gym, at the worn equipment, the absence of ceremony, the complete lack of everything that had defined martial arts for him.
I don't know anymore.
Good. That's where learning starts.
Mason finishes wrapping his hands.
You can sleep here tonight if you want. Couch in the back room. But tomorrow you decide you want to keep looking for the right answers, or you want to learn what actually works.
What's the difference?
Right answers make you feel smart. What works keeps you standing.
Mason heads toward the cage.
I'll be here at 6. If you're serious about learning, so will you.
He enters the cage, begins working through combinations on the heavy bag. Nothing fancy, nothing beautiful. Just pressure, timing, the honest percussion of impact. Ori finishes his food in silence, watching Mason work. Every movement is economical, purposeful, stripped of everything except immediate function. For the first time in months, the movements don't look like lies. Fade to Mason's gym backroom, night. Ori lies on a narrow couch, staring at the ceiling. From the main gym comes the steady rhythm of Mason's training. No music, no ceremony, just the sound of someone preparing for something real. Ori's GI bag sits unopened in the corner. Tomorrow he'll have to decide whether to put it on again, or whether to learn what he actually is when he stops pretending to be what he's supposed to be. Mason's gym. Morning, 6 a.m. Ori sits on the couch, already dressed. His GI bag remains unopened. Mason enters, carrying coffee.
You ready?
For what?
To find out what you actually are.
Mason tosses Ori a pair of thin, worn gloves.
Put those on.
Are we sparring?
We're learning.
Ori pulls on the gloves. They're scarred, sweat-stained, honest.
Stand there.
Mason points to the center of the mat. Ori takes position.
Now try to hit me.
What?
Throw a punch. Any punch.
Ori settles into Winterline stance. Weight back, hands positioned for optimal defensive capability.
Like this?
However feels right.
Ori throws a textbook jab. Perfect form, chambered from the hip, snapping back to guard position. Mason slips it easily and taps Ori's chin with a short jab. Pop! Ori stumbles backward, more surprised than hurt.
Again.
Ori resets, throws another perfect jab. Same result. Mason slips, counters, Ori staggers.
I'm telegraphing.
You're performing. Again.
This time, Ori tries a cross. Mason steps inside it, drives a jab into Ori's solar plexus. Ori doubles over, gasping.
Stand up.
Ori straightens slowly, still catching his breath.
Again.
Ori throws a hook. Mason ducks under it, rises with an uppercut that snaps Ori's head back. Ori drops to one knee, vision swimming.
Stand up.
Ori breathing hard.
Maybe we should.
Stand up.
Ori gets to his feet, legs unsteady.
What are you trying to do?
Hit you.
No, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to execute proper technique.
While I'm trying to hit you in the face.
Mason circles him slowly.
Again.
Ori throws another combination, jab, cross, hook. Each technique perfect in isolation, useless in application. Mason weaves through them like they're happening in slow motion, lands 3 clean counters. Ori hits the mat hard.
Stand up.
Ori struggles to his feet, blood trickling from his nose.
This isn't working.
Good. Now we can start. Stop trying to look right. Start trying to not get hit.
Ori wipes blood with the back of his glove.
How?
I don't know. Figure it out. Again.
This time, Ori hesitates. He can see Mason waiting, patient, ready to counter whatever perfect technique he throws. So instead of throwing a perfect technique, Ori just lunges forward. No stance, no chamber, no form, just desperate forward motion. Mason still hits him, a short hook that spins Ori sideways. But the punch doesn't land as clean. Ori stays on his feet.
Better.
That was terrible.
It was honest.
Mason resets to the center.
Again.
Ori lunges again, this time with his hands up to cover his face. Mason's counter clips his glove instead of his jaw. Still gets knocked backward, but doesn't fall.
Better.
They go again, and again. Each time Ori abandons more of his formal training, each time he absorbs less punishment. After 20 minutes, Ori is bloody, exhausted, but still standing.
Good.
Gasping. Good.
You stopped asking permission.
Permission for what?
To move like you instead of like them.
Mason walks to the water cooler, fills 2 cups.
The forms teach you to move perfectly, but perfect is predictable, and predictable gets you hit.
He hands Ori a cup.
Real fighting isn't about doing techniques correctly. It's about not being where the other guy expects you to be.
Then why do the forms at all?
Good question.
Ori drinks, tastes blood mixed with water.
How long before I can actually hit you?
How long before you stop trying to hit me the way they taught you?
I don't know.
Then that's how long.
Mason begins unwrapping his hands.
Tomorrow, 6 a.m., we'll work on moving without asking permission.
What if I'm not ready?
You weren't ready today. Didn't stop you from standing up.
Mason heads toward the exit.
That's the only thing that matters. Not how hard you hit, not how pretty you look, just whether you stand up.
Mason,
Mason pauses at the door.
why are you helping me?
Because 15 years ago, someone should have helped me stand up.
Mason exits. 3 weeks later, Mason's gym, day. 3 weeks into training. Ori moves differently now. Less rigid, more responsive. He works the heavy bag with increasing efficiency. Mason drags out a canvas grappling dummy, weighted and lumpy, held together with duct tape.
What's that?
Your new teacher!
Mason positions the dummy upright, then drops into a low stance and explodes forward, scooping both its legs. The dummy crashes to the mat with a heavy thud.
That's wrestling.
Yeah.
That's not martial arts.
Mason looks at him from his position on top of the dummy.
What do you think martial arts are?
Movement, striking techniques, proper form and structure, balance and timing.
Striking's how people who don't want to touch each other pretend to fight.
Mason transitions smoothly from takedown to side control, his weight crushing down on the dummy's chest.
Wrestling is where the fight goes when pretending stops working.
But it looks like struggling without structure, not disciplined technique.
Yeah. That's because it's closer to what people actually do when they don't want to lose.
Mason stands, resets the dummy.
Your turn.
I don't know how to wrestle.
You don't know how to wrestle. You know how to struggle. Everyone knows how to struggle.
Ori approaches the dummy hesitantly.
Grab its legs, drive forward, put it on the ground.
Ori attempts a takedown. His technique is terrible. Arms too wide, no leverage, no commitment. The dummy barely moves.
Like you mean it.
Ori tries again. Better commitment, but still clumsy. The dummy tips over but doesn't crash.
Stop trying to do it right. Just do it.
On the third attempt, Ori abandons any pretense of technique. He simply drives his shoulder into the dummy's waist and forces it backward. The dummy hits the mat hard.
Good.
That wasn't technical.
It was effective.
Mason helps Ori to his feet.
Most fights end up on the ground within 30 seconds. You want to know why?
Because people don't maintain proper distance?
Because when someone really wants to hurt you, they don't stay at punching range. They close distance. They grab you. They try to control you.
Mason moves to the center of the mat.
Hit me!
What?
Throw your best shot. Really try to hurt me.
Ori settles into his stance, throws a committed cross. Not perfect technique, but honest intent. Mason steps inside the punch, catches Ori's arm, and drives forward with a single leg takedown. Ori hits the mat hard. Before he can react, Mason's weight settles across his chest, one knee pinning his arm.
How's your striking now?
Ori tries to punch from the bottom. His shots have no power, no leverage.
I can't generate any force.
That's the point.
Mason shifts his weight, pins Ori's other arm.
Your beautiful techniques, your perfect balance, your power generation through correct body mechanics. Where are they now?
I'm struggling.
I need space to execute properly.
And I'm not giving you space. What now?
Ori tries to use his legs to push Mason off. Mason easily controls the movement.
This is what happens when someone closes the distance, when they take away your room to be technical.
Mason releases him, stands up.
Most traditional schools teach you to fight at the distance where their techniques work best, but fights don't stay at that distance.
Getting up, breathing hard.
So you learn wrestling to get back to striking range?
You learn wrestling because this is fighting, not the opening act, not what happens when striking fails. This is where violence lives.
Mason moves back to the grappling dummy.
Watch.
He demonstrates a series of positions, takedowns, pins, submissions. Nothing flashy, nothing that would look good in slow motion. Just the systematic control of another human being through leverage and pressure.
Your traditional schools treat this like it's beneath them, like it's not sophisticated enough for martial artists.
Because it's not about technique, it's about strength.
Is it?
Mason calls Ori over, positions him in side control on top of the dummy.
Hold him down.
Ori uses his arms to pin the dummy. Mason easily moves him off with minimal effort.
Now try this.
Mason shows him how to distribute his weight, how to use leverage instead of strength, how to make the dummy carry his body weight while remaining helpless. When Ori applies the position correctly, the control is absolute.
Strength.
Number physics.
Everything's physics. The question is whether you understand the physics you're using.
Mason resets the dummy.
Your turn. Take me down.
You want me to wrestle you?
I want you to put me on the ground.
Ori approaches cautiously. Mason's stance is relaxed, hands low, weight centered. Ori shoots for a double-leg takedown, using the technique Mason showed him. His form is crude but committed. Mason sprawls back, hips away, hands pressing down on Ori's shoulders. Ori's takedown stalls completely, but instead of giving up, Ori adjusts. He drives with his legs, changes angles, refuses to let Mason dictate the terms of the engagement. After 10 seconds of struggle, they both go down in a tangle of limbs. Not pretty, not technical, but honest.
Good.
I didn't get the takedown.
You didn't quit when it got ugly.
They separate, both breathing harder.
That's what grappling teaches you. How to keep fighting when fighting stops looking like fighting.
The traditional schools think it's barbaric.
The traditional schools think a lot of things. Doesn't make them right.
Mason walks to the water cooler.
Tomorrow we work on what happens when someone bigger and stronger takes you down.
How do you deal with that?
You learn that size and strength matter less than position and leverage. You learn that the fight's not over just because you're on your back.
He hands Ori a cup of water.
And you learn that everything they taught you about what fighting looks like was designed to keep you comfortable, not effective.
Ori drinks, looking at the grappling dummy with new understanding.
How long before I'm good at this?
How long before you stop thinking of it as separate from everything else?
What do you mean?
Striking, grappling, standing, ground, it's all the same fight. The only thing that changes is what tools work best for the current distance.
Mason begins cleaning up the training area.
Traditional schools teach you to be a specialist. I'm teaching you to be complete.
Complete how?
Dangerous at every range, effective in every position, honest about what violence actually requires.
Ori helps move the grappling dummy back to its corner.
When will I know I'm getting it?
When you stop asking when you'll get it.
Warehouse district. Night. Mason drives Ori through narrow streets lined with industrial buildings. Ori stares out the window, nervous energy radiating from his posture.
Where are we going?
Somewhere you can find out what you've actually learned. You ready for this?
I don't know.
Good. Means you're thinking.
A single mat surrounded by metal folding chairs. Maybe 30 people total. Fighters, not spectators. Everyone looks like they've been in real fights. No ceremonial banners. No referee in a striped shirt. Just a thin man with a clipboard who nods to Mason.
Mason, your boy ready?
We'll find out.
Ori looks around. These are academy students or tournament competitors. These are people who fight because they need to know they can.
Remember what we worked on. Don't try to look right. Just don't get hurt.
A fighter approaches from across the room. Carlos, late 20s, stocky build, confident but not arrogant. He wears plain shorts and an old tank top. No school patches, no ranking insignia.
You new?
Yeah.
Good. Haven't tested formally, but think I am like a 500 power score. I like breaking in new guys.
He grins, but it's not mean-spirited. More like someone who enjoys his work.
I'm Carlos. I'll try not to hurt you too much.
Ori.
They move to the mat. No formal introductions, no announcements. The crowd gathers in a loose circle.
Trust what your body knows.
Carlos settles into a loose boxing stance. Hands up, weight forward, the posture of someone who's learned to hit and be hit. Ori finds his own stance. Not the perfect Winterline formation he'd trained for years, but something that feels natural after weeks with Mason.
Go!
Carlos comes forward immediately, testing with a quick jab. Ori slips it, not perfectly, but enough. The punch grazes his ear instead of landing clean. Carlos follows with a hook. This time, Ori ducks under, comes up close enough to smell the other man's sweat. Instead of backing away to proper striking distance, Ori does what Mason taught him. He stays close, makes it ugly. Carlos tries to create space with a knee. Ori catches the leg, drives forward with his shoulder. They both go down in a scramble that looks nothing like either of their training backgrounds. On the ground, Carlos tries to establish control from the top. But Ori has spent weeks learning how to fight when fighting stops looking like fighting. He doesn't try to execute perfect escapes. He just refuses to be controlled. They roll, struggle, neither man dominating, but both working with honest intensity. Carlos goes for a submission, an arm triangle that would end the fight if he could lock it in properly. But Ori's positioning is better than his technique suggests. He doesn't escape beautifully. He just makes the submission harder to finish than Carlos wants to work for. When they separate and return to their feet, both men are breathing harder. Carlos's expression has changed. Less casual confidence, more focused respect.
You're tougher than you look.
Carlos tries a different approach, combinations that would work well against someone who fights at traditional range. But Ori doesn't stay at traditional range. He crowds, pressures, makes every exchange happen at distances where Carlos's boxing background is less effective. When Carlos throws a combination, Ori doesn't try to counter with perfect technique. He simply steps forward and drives an elbow into Carlos's ribs, while the other man is committed to his attack. Carlos grunts, staggers back. For the first time, Ori presses his advantage. Not with flowing combinations or beautiful footwork, but with the kind of relentless forward pressure Mason has drilled into him. Carlos covers up, tries to clinch to slow down the pace, but clinching puts them back in grappling range, where Ori has been learning to thrive. He takes Carlos's back during the clinch, sinks in a rear naked choke with technique that's crude but functional. Carlos fights the hands, tries to turn, but Ori's grip is determined and his positioning is sound enough to maintain control. After 20 seconds of struggle, Carlos taps on Ori's arm. The crowd reacts with quiet approval. No screaming or celebration, just the recognition of honest work, completed satisfactorily. Ori releases the choke immediately, helps Carlos to his feet.
Damn. Where'd you train?
Here and there.
Your boy's got heart.
He's got more than that.
Carlos extends his hand to Ori.
Good fight. You earned that.
They shake hands. Carlos melts back into the crowd, already discussing his next potential matchup with other fighters. Ori stands alone on the mat for a moment, processing what just happened.
How do you feel?
Different.
Different how?
Like I actually fought someone instead of performed for them.
Good! That's what it's supposed to feel like.
They move toward the exit. Other fighters nod to Ori as he passes, not as a celebrity or a prospect, but as someone who's proven he belongs. Warehouse District. Night. Walking back to the car, Ori replays the fight in his mind. Not the techniques he used, but the feeling of honest competition.
Mason,
Yeah?
thank you
For what?
for showing me what I actually am.
I didn't show you anything. You showed yourself.
They get in the car. As Mason starts the engine, Ori looks back at the warehouse where he just discovered something essential about his own capabilities.
When do I fight again?
When you're ready,
How will I know when I'm ready?
when you stop asking.
Mason's gym, morning. 2 months after the underground fight. Ori moves differently now, confident, economical, present. He's helping Elena, 20s, former dancer, new student, with basic sprawl drills.
Don't think about making it pretty. Just think about not falling down.
But my legs feel all wrong.
Good. Wrong for what you used to do, right for what you need to do.
Mason watches from across the gym, wrapping his hands with automatic precision. Tess enters carrying coffee and a sketchbook, settles onto her usual bench.
You're getting good at that.
At what?
Teaching without making people feel stupid.
Elena successfully completes the drill, looks surprised at her own success.
How do you know when to encourage and when to just let someone figure it out?
I don't know. I just remember what it felt like when no one believed I could figure anything out.
Tess looks up from her sketchbook, studies Ori's face.
You're different than when you first showed up here.
Different how?
Less angry, still hungry, but less angry.
Mason approaches, having finished his warm-up.
Elena, work the bag for 10 minutes. Focus on hitting through the target, not at it.
Elena moves to the heavy bag. Mason, Ori, and Tess form a loose triangle of conversation.
You ready for something harder?
What kind of harder?
There's a guy asking around about you. Carlos must have talked.
Looking up from sketching.
What kind of guy?
The kind who thinks beating newcomers proves something about himself.
You think I should fight him?
I think you should decide if you want to keep testing yourself or if you're satisfied with where you are.
Tess continues sketching, but she's clearly listening to every word.
What's his story?
Been around the circuit for 2 years. Good technical background, likes to break people who think they can shortcut their way to competence.
Sounds charming.
He's not wrong about shortcuts. Most people who show up to underground fights thinking they've figured something out get humbled fast.
But not me.
Not you, but only because you spent months learning to get humbled here first.
Tess closes her sketchbook, looks directly at Ori.
Why do you want to keep fighting?
The question catches Ori off guard. Elena's steady rhythm on the heavy bag fills the silence.
What do you mean?
Mason fought because he had something to prove. You've already proven you can fight. So why keep going?
I don't know. It feels like I'm supposed to.
Supposed to, according to who?
Because I'm curious what I'm capable of. Not what I can prove to other people, but what I can discover about myself.
Ori considers this, watching Elena work through her combinations with increasing confidence.
The first fight felt like I was finally being honest about who I am. But this next one
Feels like something else?
feels like I might be building another cage for myself.
What kind of cage?
The kind where I have to keep winning to prove I deserve to be here.
Mason and Tess exchange a look. There's communication there, years of shared understanding about the psychology of fighting and the dangers of needing external validation.
You know what I love about watching Mason train?
What?
He never looks like he's trying to prove anything. He just looks like he's having a conversation with physics.
She reopens her sketchbook, starts drawing again.
When you fought Carlos, you looked the same way. Like you were solving a problem, not making a statement.
The moment you start fighting to prove something, you stop fighting to win.
So, I shouldn't take the fight?
I didn't say that. Take it if you're curious what you'll learn. Don't take it if you think winning will make you feel complete.
Elena finishes her bag work, approaches their conversation circle.
Sorry to interrupt. Ori, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you ever miss the traditional training? The structure, the clear progression, knowing exactly where you stood?
The question hangs in the air. Tess looks up from her drawing to hear his answer.
I miss the certainty. I miss feeling like someone else had figured everything out, and all I had to do was follow instructions.
But
But I don't miss feeling like I was lying every time I moved.
Elena nods, understanding the answer in a way that suggests she's had similar experiences.
the uncertainty is terrifying sometimes.
Uncertainty's where growth lives.
Certainty's where growth dies.
Is that why you stay here, instead of opening a bigger gym or teaching at an academy?
Partly.
What's the other part?
Mason looks around the gym, at the worn mats, the patched equipment, the absence of any ceremony or institutional authority.
I like knowing that everyone who trains here chose to be here, not because someone told them it was the right path, but because they decided it was their path.
Plus, bigger means more politics, more rules about who you can teach and how you can teach them.
You don't want to influence more people?
I want to influence the right people. There's a difference.
Elena begins cleaning up her training area, giving them space for more pressures around the gym.
How to create something real in a world full of performance. How to help people find what they actually are instead of what they think they should be.
That's a good reason to keep fighting.
Why?
Because every fight teaches you something about authenticity under pressure. And authenticity under pressure is the only kind that matters.
Tess closes her sketchbook, stands to leave.
I vote you take the fight.
Why?
Because you're asking the right questions about why you're doing it. People who ask the wrong questions don't usually get to that point.
She heads toward the exit, then pauses.
Besides, I'm curious what you're capable of too.
After she leaves, Mason and Ori sit in comfortable silence, watching Elena practice alone in the mirror.
You know what the difference is between a fighter and someone who just fights?
What?
A fighter keeps getting better. Someone who just fights keeps getting the same results.
Which one am I?
Too early to tell. But you're asking the right questions. I need an extra pair of hands on a small project I'm working on later. You interested?
Where are we going?
To see another side of fighting. You ready to learn something that might make you uncomfortable?
Mason, you're doing all 3 styles today, right? Steel crane, paper flow, and jade thread?
Whatever pays.
The assistant hands Ori a plain black outfit.
Your background, villain side. Stand where they tell you, fall when they tell you.
Ori looks confused. Mason guides him to a changing area.
You didn't tell me this was a movie.
You didn't ask what I do for money.
Mason begins putting on the first GI. Crisp white with gold trim, expensive fabric, perfect tailoring.
This is what you do?
Part of what I do. Action pays better than authenticity.
A fight coordinator approaches with blocking notes.
Mason, scene 12 first. Your steel crane master defending the sacred temple. Remember, big movements, camera-friendly, hold poses long enough for the cuts.
Got it.
The coordinator walks away. Mason adjusts his costume with practiced efficiency.
You perform the traditional styles? The ones you said were...
The ones I said were performance instead of fighting? Yeah. I perform them because they pay me to perform them, and because I can do them better than people who still believe in them.
Ori watches Mason transform. The casual clothes come off, the ceremonial GI goes on, and suddenly Mason moves differently, more formal, more theatrical.
Doesn't that feel fake?
Everything here is fake. The question is whether you let the fake become real.
Soundstage temple set. Day. The set is elaborate, painted backdrops, artificial stone, perfect lighting designed to look mystical. Actors in traditional robes practice their marks. Mason enters his designated area. His movements are flawless. Every technique perfect. Every stance exactly as the traditional manuals prescribe. But watching him, Ori realizes something disturbing. Mason is demonstrating everything he's taught Ori to reject, and doing it with absolute mastery. The lead actor, handsome, charismatic, clearly the hero, runs through his choreography. His technique is good, but compared to Mason's, it looks like student work.
You make this look easy.
That's the job.
They begin filming. Mason performs a complex kata, flowing, beautiful, everything that traditional martial arts aspires to be. The cameras capture every movement in slow motion, making it look even more elegant. When they call cut, the crew applauds. Mason bows formally, maintaining character.
That was perfect.
Perfect for what it's designed to do.
Which is?
Make people believe that's what fighting looks like.
The coordinator calls for the next setup. Mason changes into a different colored GI, red with black trim, indicating a different martial arts school.
Okay, now you're the villain, jade thread style. You're powerful but honorable, dangerous but respectful.
Mason nods, his entire demeanor shifting. Now he moves like a different martial artist,
I believe they're beautiful. I believe they take years to master. I believe they represent centuries of tradition. I just don't believe they work when someone's actually trying to hurt you.
For the villain scene, Mason demonstrates techniques that would earn perfect scores in any traditional tournament. His movements flow like water, His power generation is textbook perfect. The lead actor defeats him through choreographed superiority, and Mason falls with controlled precision, making the hero look more impressive than his actual skills would warrant. Lead actor, helping Mason up.
Thanks for making me look good.
That's what you're paying for.
During the lunch break, Ori and Mason sit on equipment crates, eating catered food.
This feels wrong.
Which part?
Watching you perform everything you've taught me is meaningless. It's like you're helping them lie to people.
I am helping them lie to people.
And that doesn't bother you?
Should it?
You're perpetuating the exact myths that trapped me for years, making people think traditional martial arts look like what you just demonstrated.
Mason sets down his food, looks directly at Ori.
You think this movie is going to convince people to start training?
Maybe.
Good. More people should train, even if they start for the wrong reasons.
But they'll expect to learn what you just showed them.
And they'll discover the same thing you discovered. That perfect technique isn't the same as effective technique.
Mason stands, prepares for the afternoon scenes.
You want to know why this doesn't bother me?
Why?
Because everyone who trains seriously eventually faces the same choice you faced. Keep following the forms that feel like lies, or find something that feels true. The people who choose truth will find their way to places like our gym. The people who choose comfort will stay in traditional schools and be happy.
And the people who never get the choice?
We're never going to train seriously anyway.
The afternoon continues with more elaborate fight scenes. Mason performs multiple styles with equal mastery, making each one look like the ultimate expression of martial arts philosophy. But now Ori sees something else in Mason's performance. Professional detachment. He's not honoring these traditions or respecting their history. He's simply executing a job with technical competence. During the final scene, Mason has to die heroically, after demonstrating the futility of violence compared to the hero's enlightened approach. Mason falls with perfect dramatic timing, his death conveying both the tragedy of wasted potential and the superiority of the hero's methodology. When they wrap, Mason changes back into his regular clothes with the efficiency of someone shedding a costume that never fit properly.
How long have you been doing this?
5 years, since I stopped caring what people thought about traditional martial arts.
The money's good?
Good enough to keep the gym running without charging students what they can't afford.
They walk toward the exit, passing other stunt performers and martial artists who perform these same contradictions daily.
You look disturbed.
I am disturbed.
By what?
By watching you master everything you've taught me to reject. By realizing how good you are at things you don't believe in.
Would it be better if I was bad at them?
It would be more honest.
Mason stops walking, considers this seriously.
Maybe, but it would also be less useful.
Useful how?
Because now you know that rejecting traditional martial arts isn't the same as being unable to do them. When you eventually challenge the system, and you will, they can't dismiss you as someone who couldn't cut it in traditional training.
Because you trained me.
Because you chose effectiveness over beauty, even after seeing how beautiful the alternative can be.
They reach the car. Mason throws his costume bag in the trunk.
That choice means something different when you've seen both options performed perfectly.
Does it?
Ask me again after you've spent a year fighting people who still believe in the performance.
They drive away from the studio lot, leaving behind the elaborate illusions and perfect techniques.
Mason.
Yeah?
Next time you take one of these jobs, I want to come with you.
Why?
Because I want to understand what we're actually fighting against.
Mason smiles, not with satisfaction, but with recognition that Ori has just crossed another line in his education about the nature of authentic versus artificial competence.
Bigger crowd tonight.
Word travels. Carlos talked. Other people listened.
They park. Ori looks more relaxed than before his first fight, but there's new awareness in his eyes.
Remember what we talked about?
Don't fight his fight.
And?
Don't perform for the crowd. He moves like the guys in the movie.
Exactly like them.
Ori tilts his head, studying Derek like he's watching a replay. Ori.
He's performing.
Mason.
What do you mean?
Ori.
Look at his warm-up. Every technique is designed to impress the crowd, not prepare for a fight.
The other fighter approaches them directly. His GI is crisp, his belt properly tied, his posture perfect.
You're Ori.
Yeah,
I'm Derek Chen. Third-degree black belt, certified instructor, Tournament of Schools finalist 3 years running.
Derek's introduction is formal, respectful, but carries an undertone of superiority.
I heard you beat Carlos with unconventional methods.
Ori looks Derek up and down, not sizing him up as a fighter, but reading him like a script.
let me guess. You're here to show everyone what happens when street fighting meets real technique.
How did you...
Because you're not here to fight me. You're here to perform against me.
Derek's confident expression flickers.
I don't know what you mean.
Sure you do. This whole thing. The perfect warm-up, the credentials announcement, the clean GI. It's all theater.
Ori steps closer, his voice carrying clearly enough for nearby listeners to hear.
You've already decided how this goes. You'll demonstrate superior technique. I'll look sloppy and desperate. And you'll win with something that looks good for the cameras that aren't here.
That's not...
Then prove me wrong.
What?
Fight me right now. No platform, no crowd. Just you and me in that corner for 30 seconds.
Derek glances around nervously. The crowd is starting to pay attention to their conversation.
That's not how this works. There are protocols.
Protocols.
Ori laughs, not mockingly, but with recognition.
You know what I'm going to do when we get on that platform?
What?
I'm going to walk straight at you. No technique, no strategy, no respect for your superior training. Just forward pressure until you panic.
The crowd has definitely heard this now. Murmurs ripple through the room.
Then, when you try to create distance to use your perfect techniques, I'm going to follow you. Make it ugly. Turn your demonstration into a wrestling match.
You can't just...
After 2 minutes of that, you'll abandon your beautiful combinations and start swinging wild, hoping to catch me with something lucky.
Derek's face is reddening, but he can't seem to find words to respond.
That's when I'll take you down. Not with superior technique, but because you'll be exhausted from trying to look perfect while I've been trying to win.
Ori,
The worst part? Everyone here will see exactly what happened. They'll see that your 3 years of tournaments prepared you for opponents who agree to fight the way you've practiced. But I don't agree. I'm not going to cooperate with your performance.
Derek finally finds his voice, but it's shaky.
You're just trying to psych me out.
Ori.
Am I?
Ori turns to address the crowd directly.
Anyone here want to bet against what I just described?
Silence. Even Derek's supporters seem uncertain now.
Here's what's really going to happen. You're going to realize about 90 seconds in that nothing you've trained for applies to someone who doesn't care about looking good. And you're going to have to choose. Keep trying to demonstrate superior technique, or abandon everything you believe about martial arts and fight like your life depends on it.
And if I choose to fight?
Then you might actually be dangerous. But you won't choose that. Because fighting means admitting that everything you've spent years perfecting might be wrong. And you're not ready for that conversation.
Derek stares at him, jaw clenched.
You think you have me figured out?
I think I used to be you.
The platform is ready. The promoter calls them up.
Derek Chen versus Ori. Let's see what happens.
As they step onto the platform, Derek tries to regain his composure.
All that talking won't help when we actually fight.
We'll see.
They take positions. Derek settles into perfect form. Ori stands casually, hands loose. Someone calls, "Fight!" Ori does exactly what he promised. He walks straight forward. No technique, no strategy, just relentless pressure. Derek tries his beautiful jab. Ori walks through it. Derek attempts a combination. Ori steps inside it, makes it ugly. Within 60 seconds, Derek is backing up, trying to create space for his techniques to work. Ori follows, constant pressure, turning every exchange into the kind of chaos Derek has never trained for. At 90 seconds, Derek abandons his perfect form and starts swinging wild. At 2 minutes, Ori takes him down with a crude but effective tackle. The crowd watches in stunned silence as everything Ori predicted plays out exactly as described. Derek taps out to a basic rear naked choke, his perfect training useless against someone who refused to cooperate with its assumptions. After the fight, Derek sits on the platform edge, staring at his hands.
How did you know?
Because someone showed me the difference between performing fighting and actually fighting. Your technique is perfect. But perfect for what?
Derek has no answer. Warehouse. Night.
You're not saying anything.
What you did in there.
Was it wrong?
It was honest. Maybe too honest.
What do you mean?
You didn't just beat him, you broke his entire worldview in front of 60 people.
Good.
Maybe. Or maybe you just made an enemy of everyone who still believes in that worldview.
Ori considers this as they drive away.
Someone has to tell them the truth.
And you think that someone is you?
Who else is going to do it?
Mason doesn't answer, but his expression suggests Ori has just crossed another line. Ori works with 3 students, Elena, a former wrestler named Mike, and a nervous office worker named Sarah. He moves between them with growing confidence, making small corrections, asking the right questions.
Stop trying to make it pretty. Just make it work.
But it feels wrong.
Good. That means you're learning something new.
Mason enters carrying an official-looking envelope.
Ori, we need to talk.
The students continue training as Mason and Ori move to the side.
I got offered a contract. Military Training Academy. 3-week intensive for instructors.
Congratulations.
They want me to bring an assistant.
Ori stops wrapping his hands.
Me?
If you're interested in seeing where violence goes when it stops being theoretical.
What do you mean?
These aren't tournament fighters or weekend warriors. These are people who train for situations where losing means dying.
Ori looks back at his students, then at Mason.
What would I do there?
Learn, watch, maybe teach if they let you. See what fighting looks like when it's not about self-improvement or personal growth.
What's it about?
Survival, mission completion, bringing everyone home.
When do we leave?
Gentlemen, you're here because traditional combatives training isn't producing results in the field.
Hayes clicks to a slide showing casualty statistics.
Our people are dying in close-quarter situations despite hundreds of hours of martial arts training.
Another click. Video of soldiers attempting textbook defensive techniques against aggressive attackers. The techniques fail consistently.
The techniques they're learning work in training environments. They don't work when someone's trying to kill them.
He gestures to Mason.
Mr. Arlow has agreed to show us what does work. Pay attention.
2 weeks later,
the offer stands. Full instructor positions. You'd be training the people who train our soldiers.
Mason.
I appreciate it, Colonel, but I have obligations back home.
What about you?
I need to think about it.
Fair enough. Before you decide, you should meet our current senior instructor.
The colonel presses an intercom button.
Send in Coach Red.
The door opens and Coach Red enters. He's a mountain of a man in his 50s. 6 feet 4 inches, 280 pounds of functional mass that looks like it was assembled from truck parts and gorilla DNA. His face is a roadmap of old breaks and deeper violence. Hands like sledgehammers, shoulders that could carry motorcycles.
Colonel.
Red, these are the contractors I mentioned. Mason Arlow and his assistant Ori.
Red looks them over with the calculating gaze of someone who sees people as collections of breakable parts.
Heard about your methods. Practical stuff.
Practical for the circumstances.
You're the one who's been making noise in the underground circuits.
Some noise.
Good. Means you understand violence isn't a hobby.
Red's been our head combatives instructor for 8 years. Highest mission success rate in close-quarter situations.
Because I teach them what works when someone's trying to kill you.
I'll let you 3 talk. Red, show them the afternoon session.
You want to see what real training looks like?
A dozen elite soldiers work through scenarios. These aren't regular troops. These are special operations, the kind of men who get sent when things have gone very wrong. Red observes their training with the attention of a predator studying prey. Soldier. Number 1 attempts a takedown on soldier number 2. The technique is clean, efficient.
Stop. Reset. Johnson, When you shot that takedown, you left your eyes exposed. In the real world, I would have had a finger in your eye socket before you got my legs.
Red demonstrates the movement, not roughly, but with casual precision that makes it clear he's done this before.
Blind fighters don't complete missions.
The soldiers reset. This time, soldier number 1 protects his face during the takedown.
Better. Now, Williams, when he shoots, knee him in the face. Break his nose, break his will.
Sir, that seems excessive for training.
Excessive for training, necessary for breathing. See, Williams thinks there's a difference between training and fighting. That's how Williams gets dead.
He turns to address the entire group.
Out there, nobody cares about your comfort. Nobody's worried about your feelings getting hurt. They want to put holes in you and watch you leak.
Red picks up a training knife, rubber but shaped like the real thing.
Martinez, come at me with this.
Martinez approaches cautiously. Red doesn't move until the knife is inches from his chest. Then his response is lightning fast and absolutely savage. He redirects the knife, grabs Martinez's wrist, and in one fluid motion, demonstrates how he would break the arm, drive his knee into Martinez's floating ribs, and follow with an elbow to the temple.
If this were real, Martinez would have a compound fracture, 2 broken ribs, and severe brain trauma.
He releases Martinez, who staggers backward, shaken by the demonstration's intensity.
But he'd be alive, which is more than I can say for the guy who tried to stab him.
Ori watches, mesmerized by Red's casual relationship with extreme violence.
Remember, in the field, there's no second place. There's mission complete, and there's body bags. Your job isn't to fight fair. Your job is to go home to your families.
The training continues. Red moves between students, offering corrections that are always about maximizing damage to opponents rather than minimizing risk to themselves.
Stop thinking about protecting yourself. Start thinking about destroying him. If this were real, I'd have my thumb in your throat right now.
Again, the casual delivery. No malice, no excitement. Just professional assessment of how to efficiently end human life.
What do you think?
Effective training for its purpose.
And what purpose is that?
Keeping soldiers alive in combat situations.
Exactly. Not making them better people, not building character, keeping them breathing.
He looks at Ori specifically.
You interested in this kind of work?
I'm considering it.
Why?
Because what you're teaching is honest about what violence actually is.
Red's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in his eyes.
Is it? Or do you think it's honest because it matches what you want violence to be? See, most people who come to me fall into 2 categories. People who need to learn this stuff to survive, and people who want to learn this stuff because they like the idea of being dangerous.
He steps closer to Ori.
Which one are you?
I want to be effective.
That's not what I asked.
Ori considers the question seriously.
I want to be dangerous enough that people can't dismiss what I'm trying to tell them.
And what are you trying to tell them?
That their traditional training is useless. That they're living in a fantasy about what fighting is.
Red nods slowly.
So you want to learn extreme violence to win an argument about martial arts philosophy.
When you put it that way, it sounds different.
Let me show you something.
Red leads them to a corner where a young soldier sits alone, staring at his hands.
Peterson there just got back from his 3rd deployment, knows everything I've taught him, can kill a man in 6 different ways using only his thumb.
Peterson looks up at them with eyes that have seen too much.
Peterson, tell them what you dream about.
I dream about the people I've killed every night.
And how many people have you killed, Peterson?
14, that I'm sure of.
Red turns back to Ori.
Peterson's the best student I've ever had. Perfect technique, absolute commitment, never hesitates when violence is necessary. He's also never going to sleep through the night again.
Ori stares at Peterson, seeing something he hadn't considered.
That's what this kind of training does to you. It makes you very good at ending human life, but it also makes you someone who has ended human life. Once you cross that line, really cross it, not just talk about crossing it. You can't go back to thinking about violence as theoretical.
He looks directly at Ori.
So before you decide you want to learn what I teach, ask yourself, are you prepared to become someone like Peterson? Someone like me? Because if this were real, I would have a finger in your eye socket, and I'm not joking.
You love this.
I love being alive. This is what keeps me alive. But yeah, after 15 years of teaching people how to kill efficiently, part of me does love the work. And that part of me should scare you.
Mason.
So?
Ori.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
But he's honest about being a monster.
That's what makes him dangerous. And that's what you were starting to become.
Ori stops walking.
I don't want to be Peterson.
Good.
But I also don't want to be helpless against people like Red.
Then you learn enough to protect yourself without becoming someone who loves the protection.
How do you know the difference?
When you start looking forward to using what you've learned, you've gone too far.
They reach the base exit. Behind them, soldiers continue training for violence that serves purposes they may never fully understand.
Mason.
Yeah?
Thank you for showing me that.
Thank you for being smart enough to learn from it.
Ori moves through the crowd, hood up. His movement has changed. Predatory stillness, efficient steps. He stops at a sports equipment stall. Ori examines a simple mouth guard, opens a small container. His current one is cracked.
Ori?
Jinta approaches with unchanged, eager energy. Broader shoulders suggest continued training, but his essential optimism remains intact.
Ori Koma, that you?
Jinta.
Damn, I heard you left. But you're still training, huh? What school you switched to?
Ori pays the vendor, pockets the mouth guard.
I didn't.
Ah, one of the freelance outfits. Some of those rogue schools are pretty legit. You working your way up to black again? Or did they lateral your ranking?
Didn't ask.
This confuses Jinta more than any elaborate explanation could.
You didn't? Oh, keeping it humble. Got it.
He elbows Ori lightly with casual familiarity.
You always were serious. Never. Showboated. That's probably why. They picked you.
Picked me for what?
To transfer. Nobody leaves unless someone better wants them, right? You didn't just walk out.
Something like that.
Jinta's posture relaxes as his interpretation settles into place.
Man, we've got alumni week coming up. You should stop by. Show people where you landed. Half the juniors think you got disqualified. Be good for morale.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, unless your new school's all secret technique stuff. You under an NDA or something?
His eyes light up with excitement. A real-world mystery.
Sure, let's call it that.
Jinta claps him on the shoulder, pleased to have solved the puzzle.
All right, well, hey, keep training. We'll see you around. And if your new style has a name, bring it with you.
He turns and disappears into the crowd. The gym embraces morning quiet, Ori mopping the floor. The front door opens with a soft creak. A stranger fills the doorway. Fex isn't tall, but he commands space. Stocky build, scarred forearms, a shaved head revealing old cuts. A shark fin tattoo peeks from his collar. His presence makes the gym feel smaller.
You're Koma.
Not a question. Ori sets down his water bottle, body automatically shifting to balanced readiness.
Depends who's asking.
Fex shrugs off his jacket, revealing arms thick with muscle and marked with real fight scars.
Name's Fex. I'm not here to waste time with introductions.
He begins unwrapping pre-applied hand wraps.
Words getting around about you. Some people think you're the real thing. Others think you're just another gym hero who got lucky a few times.
And what do you think?
Fex steps onto the mat, movements economical and practiced.
I think talk is cheap, but I'm curious enough to find out for myself.
Ori glances toward the back office. No sign of Mason.
You want to know what makes a real fighter? It's not technique. It's not power. It's not even heart.
He stops directly across from Ori, close enough that the space feels charged.
It's being willing to find out what you're actually made of when everything goes wrong.
You planning to test that theory?
Already am. Question is whether you're ready for the exam.
They step toward each other. Ori's foot slips slightly. The mat is still damp from cleaning.
Mat's still wet.
Well, that kills the momentum, doesn't it?
Ori grabs a towel, tosses it to Fex.
Give it 5 minutes.
Fex catches it, sits on the bench. The absurdity of waiting for a floor to dry before trying to hurt each other hangs in the air.
You nervous?
Should I be?
Probably. I've been doing this longer than you've been breathing, kid. But nervous isn't always bad. Means your brain's working.
He tests the mat with his foot.
The ones who scare me are the ones who aren't nervous at all. Usually means they're too stupid to understand what's about to happen to them.
Which category do I fall into?
Still figuring that out, see?
Fex stands, tests the mat again, nods satisfaction.
But the fact that you're asking tells me you're thinking. Thinking fighters last longer than feeling fighters.
Floor's dry now.
Purpose returns.
Of course, thinking too much can get you killed just as quick.
The fight. Fex moves with mechanical precision. Sharp combinations, perfect timing. Ori absorbs punishment, slips by minimal margins. His defense isn't pretty, but it's effective. A hook catches Ori's jaw. Blood from his lip. Still, he doesn't fold. Fex works the body methodically, each strike accumulating damage. Ori begins to find his timing. A liver shot makes Fex go pale. The exchange intensifies. Both men breathing hard, bloodied but determined. Fex commits to a finish. 4-punch combination with everything behind it. Ori slips inside, steps into the space between them. Uppercut. Explosive. Coming from his heels, traveling through his entire body. Fex's eyes roll back. He collapses like a building with cut supports. End montage. Ori stands over Fex's unconscious form, chest heaving, blood running from his nose. His hands shake, not from fear, but from the effort. Slow clapping echoes through the space. Mason emerges from the back office, coffee cup in hand. Mason kneels, checks Fex's pulse with casual expertise.
He'll be fine. Clean knockout. He'll wake up in a few minutes with a headache and a story to tell.
How long were you watching?
Long enough to see you stop being the student and start being something else.
Fex begins to stir. Small movements, a groan, consciousness returning, sitting up slowly.
Hell of a shot, kid. Haven't been dropped like that in years.
He accepts Mason's help to his feet.
You're not what I expected when I walked in here.
What did you expect?
Another gym hero. Someone who looked good against weak competition, but would fold when things got serious.
Fex retrieves his jacket, moving carefully.
Instead, I find someone who fights like he's got nothing to lose and everything to prove.
Is that good or bad?
Depends on what you're planning to do next. That kind of fighting. It opens doors, but it also paints targets.
He extends his hand to Ori.
Word of advice, Koma. What you just did. It's going to get noticed. People are going to want to test themselves against you.
His smile is sharp but not unkind.
Make sure you're ready for what comes next.
After Fex leaves, Ori and Mason sit on the mat's edge. Adrenaline slowly leaving Ori's system, replaced by bone-deep weariness.
He was right, about what comes next.
How do you know when you're ready?
You don't. That's the thing about real fighting. You never feel ready. You just reach a point where not knowing becomes more interesting than staying safe.
And you think I've reached that point?
I think you reached it the moment you decided to get back up after Fex dropped you. Everything since then has just been confirmation.
They sit in contemplative silence.
Mason, when you fight someone the whole system believes in minus, what do you think that moment will feel like? Honest. For the first time in 15 years, completely honest. No performance, no politics, no ceremony. Just two people finding out what they're actually made of.
He looks at Ori directly.
You want to know what that feels like?
Yeah.
Then you're ready for whatever comes next.
He's coming with us?
If he wants to.
Tess studies Ori with the assessing gaze of someone who's learned to read people through years of careful observation.
You know what you're signing up for?
I don't know what I'm signing up for.
Honest answer. I like that.
Mason slams the trunk, moves to the driver's door.
You good to ride?
Where are we going?
To watch Mason finish something he started 15 years ago, that military job had a favorite connected to it he cashed in.
Mason shoots her a look, not angry, but suggesting some conversations are his to have.
Get in the car.
Sedan. Moving night. The city slides past through rain-streaked windows. Mason drives with focused silence. Tess rides shotgun, occasionally sketching by streetlight. Ori studies both of them from the back seat.
So what happened 15 years ago?
Silence. Mason's hands tighten on the steering wheel.
Mason fought Elias Crane. Lost. Badly.
Elias Crane? The movie star?
Before he was a movie star. When he was just Temple Network's golden boy with a perfect record and a face that photographed well.
She flips to a new page in her sketchbook.
Mason was different then. Angrier. Thought he could prove underground methods were superior to institutional training.
What happened?
Crane dismantled him. Technically, systematically, beautifully. Made it look easy.
Mason's jaw tightens, but he doesn't interrupt.
No official record. Mason became persona non grata in serious fighting circles. Crane went on to become exactly what you'd expect.
And Mason's been carrying that for 15 years?
Like a stone in his chest.
She glances at Mason in the rearview mirror.
Tonight, someone finally answered an invitation Mason's been sending for a very long time.
Remember what I taught you about watching instead of participating?
Yeah.
Tonight you watch. You learn. But you don't get involved unless I'm unconscious or dead.
He's not being dramatic. These people, they're not like us.
What do you mean?
We fight because we have to. They fight because they can. There's a difference.
Mason, what exactly?
What happened 15 years ago was personal. What happens tonight is just finishing the conversation. Last chance to stay in the car.
I'm not staying in the car.
Then welcome to where fighters go when they've outgrown everything else.
Jesus, these aren't underground fighters.
Number. These are the real thing. World champions, Olympians. People who could make millions in sanctioned competition but choose to come here instead.
Why?
Because sanctioned competition has rules. Weight classes, time limits.
Restrictions.
Mason nods toward the open mat area, where no ropes or cages define boundaries.
Here, the only rule is, don't permanently damage anyone who doesn't deserve it. And even that is more a guideline than hard rule.
The crowd parts slightly, conversations quieting. Ori follows Mason's gaze to see why. Elias Crane stands in the entrance like he'd been carved from marble and taught to move. Even in casual clothes, he commands attention effortlessly. His face carries the confidence of someone who's never lost. The recognition between Mason and Crane is immediate and mutual, history crackling between them like electricity.
Been a long time, Mason.
Long enough.
They approach each other slowly. This isn't a chance encounter.
You still hitting like a truck?
Still acting like it matters?
Crane laughs, once sharp and genuine.
Fair enough. I suppose we'll find out.
The implication hangs in the air. Around them, fighters and coaches position themselves for the best viewing angles. This is why they're all here.
15 years.
Mason begins his warm-up routine with methodical precision. Crane flows through movements that look like performance art. The contrast is stark, function versus form, necessity versus beauty. But both men carry themselves with the quiet certainty of people who've never been truly tested and are curious to discover what that test would reveal. The crowd forms a loose circle. No announcements, no referee, No ceremony. Just two men who have unfinished business and the space to resolve it. Mason begins his warm-up routine with methodical precision. Crane flows through movements that look like performance art. The contrast is stark, function versus form, necessity versus beauty. But both men carry themselves with the quiet certainty of people who've never been truly tested and are curious to discover what that test would reveal. The crowd forms a loose circle. No announcements, no referee, no ceremony. Just two men who have unfinished business and the space to resolve it.
Watch Mason's eyes. He's not looking at Crane's techniques. He's reading his breathing, his weight distribution, looking for the person underneath the performance.
They stop a dozen feet apart, close enough to study faces, far enough to react. Crane settles into a stance from a textbook. Perfect foot position, optimal defensive angles, mathematical precision. Mason looks like he's waiting for a bus. Hands loose, casual posture. But Ori sees it now. The centered weight, the engaged core, the way his eyes track Crane's hips. Crane.
Whenever you're ready.
Mason nods once. The room expects a masterclass. Technical symphony. Back and forth demonstration of the highest martial skill levels. Then Mason explodes. No telegraph, no buildup. One instant casual, the next airborne, knee tucked high, trajectory aimed at Crane's head with missile velocity. The room's atmosphere shatters.
Jesus Christ.
He's not going to...
But Mason is past the point of no return. Launched through space with such violent certainty that the air parts around him. Crane's eyes widen, not fear, but sudden understanding that he'd fundamentally misread the situation. He starts to duck, hands coming up, but the movement is instinctive and far too late. Impact. The sound echoes through the space like a gunshot. Mason's knee connects with Crane's skull with devastating precision. Crane's head snaps back, his feet leave the ground, his body folds as every system shuts down simultaneously. He hits the mat like dead weight. Absolute silence. 40 people who've seen every form of violence stand frozen, minds struggling to process what just occurred. This wasn't a knockout. This was something else. Commitment so pure and brutal, it transcended technique.
Pulse is there. Strong and regular. Breathing normal. He's unconscious, not...
The collective exhale is audible, but the relief doesn't change what they witnessed.
That wasn't a fight. That was execution.
I've never seen anything like that.
The commitment, if that knee missed...
It wouldn't have missed. He wasn't guessing. He knew.
Mason stands motionless above Crane's unconscious form. Not celebrating, just breathing deeply, waiting for adrenaline to clear. When Crane is carefully lifted onto a stretcher, conscious now but moving with careful deliberation, the fighters begin to disperse. Their conversations will continue for hours, days, weeks. Mason.
15 years I carried that loss. Let it define what I thought was possible. Today I remembered what I actually am.
What are you?
Someone who doesn't ask permission.
They walk to the sedan in reverent silence. The weight of witnessing something that redefined their understanding of violence and commitment. Mason moves with the same unhurried precision, but something fundamental has shifted. A debt paid, a question answered.
Feel different?
Feel finished.
He opens the driver's door, pauses.
The martial arts world will talk about that knee for years, but they'll never understand it.
What's to understand?
That sometimes the only way to prove you belong at the table is to flip it over.
Movie studio.
Your mercenary number 3. Falls hard, no lines. Just hit your marks and stay down when they tell you.
Ori examines the costume. Generic villain gear designed to read as threatening to cameras.
Mercenary number 3?
Trust me, it's better than being peasant who gets trampled.
Temple set day. An elaborate recreation of a mountain temple courtyard. Artificial stone, perfectly raked sand. Lighting rigs disguised as ancient lanterns. Beautiful, but hollow. The lead actor, a celebrated black belt from a major institutional program, demonstrates his competence through high kicks with precision that would earn perfect scores from traditional judges. Mason observes from the sidelines, now wearing padding and warming up with other stunt performers. Their movements carry the particular quality of people who've learned to simulate violence convincingly while minimizing actual risk. Stunt coordinator.
All right, people. Scene 12. Heroes rear left, villains with weapons ready on the right. Mason, you're taking the table bump twice, then the crescent kick finish.
Got it.
You're pretending to lose to a flying crescent kick?
I'm getting paid to fall through a table. Twice!
Mason's tone carries dry humor rather than bitterness.
There's a difference between what fighting actually is and what people want to see fighting look like.
The lead actor moves past, laughing about recreational activities from his previous evening. His voice carries easy confidence of someone whose biggest challenges involve memorizing dialogue. A production assistant approaches Ori with clipboard and headset.
Rachel? Yeah, one sec. Yeah, it's the one with the blank stare and the hoodie face. Doesn't really pop for hero background. Hey, Ormy, right? Mind sliding over to villain side for this one? Just a vibe thing. You're a little intense for the back row.
Ori processes being reclassified based on criteria that have nothing to do with his character, but everything to do with how his appearance reads to cameras.
Sure.
He walks across the set toward the villain formation. The transition changes not just his position, but his role in whatever story is being constructed. On the villain side, the other extras are older, quieter. Some display military posture. One has throat tattoos that makeup didn't cover. No one welcomes him or questions his reassignment. They understand such categorizations are arbitrary.
First time on the wrong side?
Apparently not the last.
You get used to it. Heroes smile and lose. Villains scowl and win until the last 5 minutes.
Catering area, day. Mason and Ori sit with rice bowls, watching the distant choreography through large windows. The elaborate fight sequences look beautiful, but bear no resemblance to anything they've experienced in real combat.
Doesn't this bother you? You proved everything you needed to prove with Crane, and now you're back to pretending someone's crescent kick can knock you out.
Should it bother me?
You have the skills to change how people think about fighting, the credibility to challenge institutions. Instead, you're here falling through tables for money.
Mason chews thoughtfully, considering this.
You think people want to see what fighting actually looks like? Blood and confusion and desperation? Techniques that work but don't photograph well?
Maybe they need to see it.
Need and want are different things. Most people prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths.
He gestures toward the elaborate set.
They're not selling fighting. They're selling a story about fighting. The lie's just part of the packaging.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with getting paid to fall through tables while knowing what I'm actually capable of. The two things don't contradict each other.
Reset, scene 12. Wide shot, everyone in positions.
Strength without honor is destruction, but with harmony, it becomes art.
Ori tries not to flinch at the hollow philosophy. The scene proceeds according to script. Mason falls through the table, twice, with professional precision. The lead actor's crescent kick lands with perfect theatrical timing. But watching from the villain side, Ori sees something the cameras don't capture. Mason's eyes during the choreographed defeat. Not the eyes of someone being dominated, but of someone who's choosing to play a role. Someone who knows exactly what real victory looks like. After the shot wraps, equipment is packed away with professional efficiency. The temple becomes a soundstage again.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
As they walk toward the exit, Ori processes the day's contradiction. Mason has achieved something unprecedented, defeating the most famous fighter in the world with one perfect moment of violence. And now he's back to falling through tables, content with the gap between appearance and reality.
Mason? Yeah. When you fought Crane, in that moment before the knee landed, what did that feel like?
Like the only honest conversation I'd had in 15 years. Everything else is just noise.
Fade out.
Ori Koma, you actually came.
Got the invitation.
Good, we've had some interesting
Discussions tonight. You might want to join. She gestures toward a corner table where several figures sit in animated conversation. Ori moves halfway across the room when fragments of conversation reach him with crystalline clarity.
Yeah, he doesn't even train under. Anyone. Just walks in, drops people, walks out.
What's his name?
No one's sure. Kona, maybe? Or Ko something.
You think he's from Iron Gate?
Nah, Iron Gate's too clean. This guy fights like he forgot what art is.
They said he broke Juro's hip.
Good. Juro needed to shut up about his rank.
Laughter follows. They're discussing him without recognizing that the subject of their speculation stands close enough to hear every word.
Hey, you hear about this underground freak? No name, no belt, just fists. They're saying he's ex-military or failed assassin or something.
Ori stares at him, occupying multiple identities simultaneously. The failed student, the mysterious underground fighter, something else neither category describes.
You think he's for real?
If he's winning, he's real enough.
Fair point. Anyway, what about you? Found your place yet?
Yeah, just not here.
Near the corner table, a large wall-mounted screen displays a news feed. The sound is muted, but closed captions scroll across the bottom.
Crane Studios releases statement on actor's minor medical incident. Due to an unexpected minor medical issue during routine training, production has been temporarily paused. Mr. Crane is in excellent health. Recent rumours of a private match or unsanctioned sparring incident are categorically false. No such event took place.
Taneko intercepts him near the screen, refilling his tea with automatic hospitality.
It's a shame, really, that so many young fighters are chasing after the wrong example again.
The comment is clearly intended to provoke response.
What do you mean?
This street fighter they're all whispering about, the Phantom of the Underground, no article, no style, just impact.
Her voice carries a dismissive tone that traditional instructors use when discussing phenomena, challenging their assumptions.
He's winning.
So did Vandals before we built cities.
The comparison reveals everything: civilization versus barbarism, order versus chaos.
You think it's mindless?
I think it's untrained, and I've seen that before. Years ago, we had a student who could overpower half the class by raw instinct, fast, unorthodox, reactive. Everyone praised him, but he refused to refine, wouldn't join proper curriculum.
Ori feels something cold settle in his stomach, recognizing the outline of his own story.
He plateaued, got bored, challenged a ranked fighter, was dealt with in under 2 minutes.
So you think the same will happen now?
I know it will. These brutes, these function over form types, forget one thing. Without foundation, everything collapses.
She gestures toward the discussion group.
Real art is about control, conservation. Violence without discipline is just flailing dressed in impact.
Sure, but maybe this one's not flailing.
Then he'll plateau, just like the others. This dojo has survived 23 generations of challengers, philosophies, and fads. Let this one come. We'll outlast him, too.
Ori walks away without responding. Not angry, not defensive. Just clear about the fundamental disconnect between institutional confidence and practical reality. Near the exit, he overhears another conversation.
Did you see Crane's statement? About the supposed underground fight?
Complete fabrication. These internet rumors get out of hand. Crane would never dignify some basement brawler with a response.
Exactly. The audio they're claiming exists? Probably manufactured. These underground types are desperate for legitimacy.
It's what happens when you operate outside proper channels. No accountability, no verification. Just wishful thinking and social media hype.
Ori pauses at the door, processing the casual dismissal of something he witnessed firsthand. Mason's flying knee that dropped the most famous fighter in the world, reduced to internet rumors and fabrication.
They think he's some brute, no discipline, just pressure. But I've seen both of you move. Crane looked picture perfect, posture flawless, hands sharp, every inch the world's top fighter. He was ready to win, and he knew it. Mason looked bored, and then, in a single moment, He chose violence so brutal, so precise. It stopped being a fight and became something else. He humbled the world's most famous fighter with one act, not out of rage, but because he meant it. Beautiful, terrifying, and true.
You look like someone who just discovered Santa Claus is real but works for the IRS.
I went to alumni night.
How'd that go?
They're calling your fight with Crane a fabrication. Internet rumors say the audio was manufactured. Mason continues rapping, unsurprised.
Of course they are.
Doesn't that bother you? You proved everything you needed to prove, and they're acting like it never happened.
Should it? I didn't fight Crane for the newspapers. I fought him for me. That debt's paid.
You're brooding again.
I'm processing.
Same thing, different vocabulary. What happened tonight?
I listened to my former instructors explain why everything we do here is meaningless. How underground fighters are just lucky thugs who'll plateau and disappear.
Maybe they're right. Maybe you will plateau. Maybe what we do here only works against other people who've never been properly tested. Maybe all of this is just elaborate self-deception. Only one way to find out.
I need to fight.
The statement emerges with quiet certainty.
Not some underground nobody. Not someone looking to make a name. I need to fight someone the system believes in. Someone they can't dismiss or explain away.
You want to pick a fight with their golden boys.
I want to know if any of this is true. If what Mason taught me actually works against someone who's never been lied to, never been failed by the system.
Mason sets down his tape, giving Ori his full attention.
You understand what you're asking for?
A war.
Not just a war. The kind of war where you become the thing they point to when they want to prove underground fighters are dangerous barbarians.
Good. Let them. While they're busy trying to destroy my reputation, I'll be busy destroying their myths.
Who are you thinking?
I don't know the landscape well enough. Who's untouchable? Who represents everything they believe in?
Shin Shuro.
Temple Network. Power level 982. Perfect technique, perfect record, perfect representative of everything institutional training promises.
He's never lost, never even been seriously tested.
That's the point.
Mason walks to the equipment rack, examining gear with newfound purpose.
If you're serious about this, really serious, then we do it right.
What does that mean?
It means you stop being my student and start being someone who can win a war.
The weight of the statement settles over them.
Real preparation, the kind that breaks most people before they get to the actual fight.
Are you sure about this?
She's looking at Ori, but the question is for both of them.
I'm sure I can't watch them keep lying to people. I'm sure I can't. Pretend their perfect techniques and ranking systems mean anything when I know what real fighting looks like.
Then we start tomorrow, 3:30 a.m.
What happens at 3:30 a.m.?
You find out what you're actually made of when everything comfortable gets stripped away.
3:30 a.m. Alarm cuts through darkness. Ori rolls off his mat into cold reality. 4 a.m. Movement work in pre-dawn darkness. No music, no distractions, just breathing and joint mobility. Mason appears with coffee, begins taping wrists. No wasted motion. 4 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Flow patterns. Footwork that builds muscle memory for angles not in textbooks. Shadowboxing focused on eliminating wasted motion. Sprawl drills until Ori's legs burn, then more until burning becomes background noise. 6:30 to 7 a.m. Cold shower. Nutrition that tastes like punishment but delivers micronutrients for recovery. 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Technical work. Guard passes performed hundreds of times until involuntary. Punch combinations at precision speed, then power that makes precision mandatory. Mason correcting angles. Off by degrees, timing late by fractions. 9:30 to 12 p.m. Conditioning. Grip strength until forearms cramp. Core work that reveals why most people's abs are cosmetic. Sprint intervals, teaching recovery from oxygen debt while maintaining technical accuracy. 12 to 1 p.m., recovery. Massage with lacrosse balls. ice baths that make teeth chatter but reduce inflammation. 1 to 4 p.m., sparring. Not cooperative flow, but genuine attempts to impose will. Training partners from underground circuits, others whose credentials Ori never learns, but whose skills are immediately apparent. 4 to 6 p.m. Film study. Video of fighters whose styles Ori might encounter. Breaking down footwork patterns, identifying tells, understanding decision trees. 6 to 8 p.m. Teaching Mason's regular students while continuing own training. Demonstrating while exhausted, keeping temper when newer students repeat mistakes. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Recovery and preparation. Stretching that borders on torture. Joint mobility addressing accumulated damage. Mental preparation, visualization exercises. 10 p.m. Sleep as a tool, deliberately applied. 3 weeks later.
How do you feel?
Different.
Different how?
Like, I finally understand the difference between someone who fights and someone who is a fighter.
And which are you?
I'm about to find out.
Tess enters with coffee and a tablet showing social media feeds.
Your challenge video is up.
On screen, Ori, seated on a bench, wearing plain black t-shirt. No logos, no affiliations. His face is calm, expression neutral.
Shinshuro, Temple Network, Power, level 982. I'm Koma. I train at an unmarked gym with a man who knocked out your system's golden boy with one knee. I'm challenging you to a sanctioned match. Name the venue, the rules, the purse. I don't care about any of it. I just want to show the world what happens when perfection meets reality. You have 1 week to respond. After that, I'll assume you're not interested in finding out what you're actually made of.
No going back now.
Good.
Mason nods once, a gesture carrying more weight than any verbal response.
Then let's finish your education.
They responded.
And?
The Temple Network does not engage with unsanctioned fighters who have not demonstrated appropriate respect for martial arts traditions and protocols. Mr. Shiro's training schedule and competitive commitments are managed through proper channels with vetted opponents who represent legitimate schools and lineages.
Exactly what you expected.
Yeah. They've decided I'm beneath notice, not dangerous enough to warrant response, not credible enough to acknowledge, which is exactly what I hoped they'd do.
Why?
Because now I can make an offer to everyone else who thinks underground. Fighters are just lucky thugs. Since the Temple Network has decided I'm not worth their time, I'm going. To make them regret that choice.
Same plain wall, same bench. Ori sits in the same position as his challenge video, but his posture has changed. More relaxed, more confident. Ori.
Since the Temple Network has decided I'm not worth their time, I'm going. To make an offer to everyone else who thinks underground fighters are just lucky thugs who can't compete with real martial artists. He leans back, arms crossed, hint of amusement in his expression.
Ori Kantidi.
3 days from now, the night before, Elias Crane's comeback fight, I'll be at the Ironworks venue in the industrial district. Anyone who wants to test their school's reputation against what we do in the underground is welcome to show up. I'll fight anyone who walks through, or on the door, all of you if necessary. Same night, no breaks until either I'm unconscious or everyone else is. And after I'm done proving that your belt colors and power rankings don't mean anything in a real fight, I'll ask Shinshuro one more time if he wants to find out what the Temple Network's golden boy is actually worth. Come find out what happens when perfect technique meets imperfect violence.
Mason's gym.
You just declared war on the entire traditional martial arts establishment.
Good.
You realize what you're asking for? Fighting multiple opponents in one night?
I'm not asking for anything. I'm offering them a chance to prove. Their systems work against someone who doesn't care about looking pretty.
If you're serious about this,
I'm serious.
then we prepare for 20 opponents. Maybe more.
That's insane.
That's the point. They'll come expecting individual matches, fair fights, clean exchanges where they can showcase their techniques. Ori's going to show them what violence actually looks like when someone stops, playing by rules designed to keep everyone safe.
Will it work?
Against people trained to fight one person at a time in controlled conditions, with weight classes and time limits.
Mason's smile is sharp, predatory.
They have no idea what they're walking into.
Cars arrive in groups, representatives from different schools and fighting philosophies clustering together, discussing strategy. The venue is packed beyond official capacity. This isn't casual entertainment. This is a demonstration that will either validate or destroy fundamental assumptions about fighting. Ori arrives 2 hours early, not for media attention, but to prepare with methodical precision Mason taught him. Joint mobility, technical review, mental rehearsal. By start time, 21 fighters have registered. They cluster in small groups, calculating how to best showcase their skills against the underground upstart.
So how's this work? Round robin? Tournament bracket? You picking who you want first?
I want to thank everyone for coming. I know you all expected to fight me one at a time. Take turns, show off your techniques in nice, clean exchanges. But that's not what's going to happen. See, I didn't call you here to give you each a fair shot at beating me. I called you here to prove a point. Your schools taught you to fight one person at a time in controlled conditions with rules and referees and time limits. But the real world doesn't work that way. So here's what's going to happen. All of you, at once, right now. No rounds, no breaks, no timeouts. Just me and 21 products of the system that taught me I wasn't good enough.
You're crazy. That's not fighting, that's suicide.
Maybe. Only one way to find out. Come on then, show me what all those years of training were worth. I said, come on.
This is insane. Nobody fights 20 people at once.
Ori moves forward, not toward any individual opponent, but into the space between them. His body language shifts from casual to explosive in a heartbeat. The wrestler finds himself targeted, not chosen specifically, but closest, when Ori decides talking is over. Short, brutal combination. Jab to disorient, level change under guard, double leg takedown executed with such violence, the wrestler's head bounces off mat with audible thud. Before others can process what happened, Ori's already moving to next target, using fallen wrestler's body as obstacle to break up their coordination. A kickboxer tries to circle behind, throws picture-perfect leg kick. But Ori isn't fighting one-on-one match. He catches the kick, uses it to off-balance attacker, drives elbow into solar plexus that folds him in half. The Kenpo practitioner moves in with practiced hand techniques, precise, fast, tournament-winning combinations. But tournaments don't prepare you for someone who absorbs your best shots and keeps coming, who steps inside your combinations and returns fire with strikes prioritizing damage over aesthetics. What follows is systematic dismantling. Ori moves through the mass of opponents like force of nature, using their numbers against them, turning individual strengths into collective weaknesses. When three fighters coordinate attack from different angles, Ori uses lateral movement to make them interfere with each other, then strikes while they're tangled and unable to defend. When judo specialist attempts throw, Ori sprawls and drives knees into ribs until he lets go. When Wing Chun stylists try anti-grappling techniques, they discover theoretical multiple opponent training never prepared them for someone who doesn't care about looking good while dismantling defense. Bodies accumulate on mat, not all unconscious, but all out of fight. Dislocated shoulder here, concussion there. Accumulated damage turning trained fighters into spectators. Those still standing show effects of extended combat. Heavier breathing, slower reactions, gradual erosion of technique under sustained violence. But Ori seems to get stronger. Blood runs from his nose, left eye swelling, knuckles split from repeated impact. But this is exactly what he trained for. Months of Mason's brutal regimen taught him to function while hurt, maintain accuracy while exhausted, find reserves when body wants to quit. The chaos isn't chaos to him. It's complex version of same principles he's drilled for years. Pressure, positioning, willingness to commit completely to each moment of violence. Other fighters try to fight 21 individual matches simultaneously. Ori fights one fight that happens to have 21 opponents. The end comes faster than expected. Not because Ori finds superhuman strength, but because cumulative damage reaches tipping point. Fighters dealing with injuries, exhaustion, psychological pressure of watching peers get systematically destroyed. When the last man standing, college wrestler, tough and stubborn, finally goes down from liver shot that makes him vomit, the warehouse falls silent. Ori stands alone in center, surrounded by 21 bodies in various states of consciousness. Shirt torn, blood running freely, hands shaking from exhaustion. But he's standing, and everyone else is learning what it feels like to have fundamental assumptions, proven catastrophically wrong. Ori walks to center of mat, stepping carefully around bodies. Camera operators focus on him as he looks directly into nearest lens.
Shinshuro, Temple Network, Power, Level 982. I just fought 21 of your system's products in one night. They're all on the mat behind me. Your techniques didn't work. Your training didn't prepare them. So I'll ask you one more time. Do you want to find out if you're different? Or are you going to keep hiding behind press statements while I prove everything you represent crumbles the moment someone stops pretending your games are real fights? Because this is what happens when perfect technique meets perfect commitment. And I've got plenty more commitment left.
How do you feel?
Like, I finally answered a question I've been asking my whole life.
And what was the answer?
That when you stop playing by rules designed to keep you weak, you discover what you're actually capable of.
Guys, he broke. The feed is up now.
My name is Shinshuro. I represent the Temple Network and everything it stands for. Discipline, respect, the accumulated wisdom of centuries of martial arts development. 2 nights ago, a fighter calling himself Koma defeated 21 martial artists in what can only be described as a systematic demonstration of violence. The footage has been viewed millions of times, analyzed by experts, debated by practitioners around the world. Many have asked why the Temple Network, why I specifically have not responded to his repeated challenges. The answer is simple. We don't typically engage with fighters who operate outside legitimate channels, who show no respect for traditions that separate martial arts from mere brutality. But what happened at the Iron Works was not mere brutality. It was systematic, tactical, and unfortunately, effective. It was also a direct challenge to everything I've spent my life learning and teaching. And such challenges cannot go unanswered. Koma, you have questioned the effectiveness of traditional training, the value of disciplined technique, the worth of institutional knowledge. You've suggested that what we teach is ceremonial rather than practical, philosophical rather than functional. You've demonstrated gaps in our preparation that I cannot ignore. But I believe those gaps can be corrected without destroying the entire system. I believe traditional martial arts can evolve, can adapt, can address the oversights you've exposed. I accept your challenge, not because I seek fame or wish to capitalize on your viral moment, but because some questions can only be answered through direct confrontation. You want to know if traditional martial arts can compete with your approach when everything is on the line? Then let's find out. 1 month from today, neutral venue, no exhibition, rules, no safety protocols beyond basic medical support. You bring your reality, I'll bring mine, and we'll see which one survives contact with the other. I'll see you soon.
He gets it.
What do you mean?
He's not dismissing what I showed. He's not pretending the gaps don't exist. He's just betting he can fix them without admitting the whole system is broken.
Is that possible?
I don't know. That's what makes this interesting.
He's not like Crane. Crane was all performance, all surface. This one actually believes in what he's doing.
Which makes him more dangerous.
Makes him more honest. And honest opponents are always the hardest to prepare for.
A month, that's not much time.
Time for what?
To get ready for someone who just proved he understands exactly what I'm trying to do and thinks he can stop me anyway.
You having second thoughts?
Number. But I'm having first thoughts about what it means to fight someone who's not underestimating me. Shuro just did something none of the others did. He admitted I was right about the problems while still believing he could solve them.
And that changes things how?
Because now I'm not fighting ignorance or arrogance. I'm fighting hope. And hope is a lot harder to break than pride.
So what do we do?
We get ready for the first honest fight I have ever had.
Complete darkness. No warning, no gradual dimming. The arena falls into absolute black that makes 60,000 people hold their breath in unison. In the silence, only the subtle hum of cameras adjusting to night vision mode, waiting to capture whatever emerges from the void. Then, footsteps. Not amplified thunder of entrance music or ceremonial cadence of traditional demonstrations. Just quiet, steady rhythm of someone walking across concrete with no concern for drama or spectacle. A single spotlight flickers to life, revealing Ori, already halfway down the entrance ramp. He moves with unhurried precision of someone who's decided everything except the next 15 minutes is irrelevant. Plain black shorts, no logos or affiliations. Hands wrapped in simple white tape, unmarked by sponsors. His face carries no expression, not stoic determination or cold calculation. Just blank focus of someone who's reduced his entire world to immediate task. No music follows him. No pyrotechnics announce his arrival. No video montage plays his greatest hits on massive screens. The production crew offered all these things. Ori declined with same polite disinterest he'd shown toward most promotional buildup. The silence makes everything else seem artificial by comparison. Commentary team finds themselves whispering, as if normal volume would violate the space Ori has created around himself. This isn't how main events are supposed to begin. This isn't how fighters present themselves to the world. But somehow, the absence of spectacle makes Ori's presence more commanding, not less. He steps through the ropes with casual efficiency of someone entering a workspace, tests the mat's surface with his foot, then settles into corner to wait. No acknowledgement of crowd, no posturing for cameras, no ritual stretching or shadow boxing. Just stillness and growing realization among audience that they're watching someone who's already moved past all theater that usually surrounds events like this. The contrast becomes obvious the moment Shinshuro's entrance begins. Arena lights shift to deep gold, color of temple incense and ancient wisdom. Traditional drums begin slow, ceremonial rhythm that builds until the concrete structure itself pulses with sound. 60,000 people rise to their feet, not because they've been instructed, but because the production demands reverence. The entrance video begins, slow-motion footage of Shuro moving through kata with liquid precision, techniques demonstrated against backgrounds of mountain temples and meditation gardens.
Martial arts is not about violence. It is about the perfection of human potential through dedicated practice and philosophical understanding.
When he finally appears at entrance ramp, Shuro looks like everything promotional material promised. Pristine white GI with gold trim, custom tailored to showcase perfect proportions. Black belt wide and traditional, marked with temple network crest and verified power level. 982. He moves down the ramp with fluid grace of dancer, each step timed to musical crescendo. Posture showcasing technical perfection that made him poster child for traditional excellence. Crowd responds with genuine appreciation. This is what they came to see. At ring, Shuro pauses for traditional bow to each side of arena, acknowledging audience with respectful gratitude that proper martial artists display. The gesture is beautiful, ceremonial, completely sincere. It also highlights everything separating him from the man waiting in opposite corner. Where Shuro represents ceremony, Ori represents function. Where Shuro embodies tradition, Ori embodies adaptation. Where Shuro carries weight of institutional expectations, Ori carries nothing but quiet certainty about what next 15 minutes will reveal. The referee, veteran official who's worked championship fights for 2 decades, calls them to center for final instructions.
Gentlemen, this is a sanctioned mixed martial arts contest scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. You know the rules. Protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands, and may the best fighter win. Touch gloves if you want to.
Shuro steps forward, extending his fist with same ceremonial precision he's shown throughout entrance. Ori looks at offered glove for a moment, then steps back without contact. Not rudely, not disrespectfully, just uninterested in ritual. Crowd murmurs at rejection, but Ori seems unaware of their reaction. He's already moving back to his corner, attention focused entirely inward.
Fighters ready?
Both men nod.
Let's fight.
He looks different.
How?
Like he's already fighting, even standing still.
The bell rings, 60,000 people fall silent. Round 1. Ori and Shin Shuro circle each other. Shuro moves with textbook precision. Perfect stance, optimal defensive angles. Ori looks like he's waiting for a bus. Shuro opens with sharp jab, follows with low kick to Ori's thigh. Both strikes land clean, demonstrating years of technical refinement.
Beautiful technique.
Too beautiful. He's performing, not hunting.
Ori absorbs the strikes without reaction. No counterattacks, no pressure, just watching. Another combination from Shuro, jab, cross, hook. The hook clips Ori's jaw, draws blood. Crowd appreciates the technical display.
Look at Ori's feet.
What about them?
He's not trying to avoid getting hit. He's collecting information.
Ori continues circling, occasionally throwing lazy jabs. To the crowd, he's being systematically outclassed. But Shuro breathes harder than his conditioning should allow. Perfect technique burns energy at unsustainable rates.
Why isn't Ori fighting back?
He is. He's just fighting a different fight than Shuro thinks they're having.
Round ends. Shuro clearly winning on technique, but his expression suggests the victory feels hollow. Round 2. Ori comes out different. Same relaxed posture, but his attention has shifted from passive to predatory. Shuro opens with the same combination. This time Ori slips inside, crowding space, forcing close-range engagement.
Now he's interested.
Brief clinch. Ori's hands test Shuro's balance, his defensive instincts.
What's he doing?
Learning. Every perfect technique.
Shuro throws tells Ori something about how he thinks. Next exchange. Shuro throws spectacular spinning back kick, the kind that belongs in highlight reels. But Ori has already read the setup. Instead of evading, Ori steps into it, catches the leg, drives forward with single leg takedown that sends both fighters to the mat.
That wasn't pretty.
Pretty doesn't matter when you're on your back.
Ground exchange lasts 30 seconds. Ori applies methodical pressure from top position.
Shuro's trying to use technique. Ori's using physics.
When they stand, something has changed in Shuro's eyes. With 30 seconds left in the round, Shuro does something impossible. He plants his foot and launches into the air. Full rotation, bicycle kick that defies physics. Both feet find targets with surgical precision. The crowd erupts. Ori staggers, blood from his nose, but doesn't fall.
My God, how did he...
15 years of perfect practice. But watch Ori.
Ori steps forward, unimpressed by the spectacle.
Shuro just showed him the most perfect technique he's ever seen, and Ori's walking through it like it was a light breeze.
Round ends. Shuro's perfect kick versus Ori's perfect indifference. Round 3. Ori walks to center and speaks loud enough for front rows to hear.
Jab, level change, double leg, take your back, choke you unconscious.
Is he allowed to do that?
He's not trying to cheat. He's making a point.
What point?
That knowing what's coming doesn't mean you can stop it.
The jab comes exactly as promised. Shuro tries to slip, but the punch occupies his attention long enough for Ori to change levels. Double leg takedown is violent, decisive. Shuro hits the mat hard.
Shuro's been trained to defend against techniques. Ori's not using techniques. He's using inevitability.
Transition to back control flows exactly as Ori predicted. Shuro tries technical escapes, but Ori's positioning is suffocating.
It's like watching someone solve a math problem with their body.
Rear naked choke locks in. Shuro's face reddens, struggles become desperate. For 15 seconds, it looks over. Then Shuro does something unexpected. Not perfect technique, but desperate innovation. His legs snake around Ori's ankle and heel hook, applied through pure survival instinct.
He's learning.
Learning what?
That survival matters more than looking perfect.
Ori faces choice: tap to preserve his knee, or endure potential damage to escape. He chooses a third option, relaxes, works with a submission rather than fighting it.
Beautiful. He's not fighting the technique. He's using it.
Ori escapes, returns to top position. Round ends with both fighters on their feet, staring at each other with new understanding. Round 4. The systematic breakdown begins. Ori works with methodical efficiency, using pressure and positioning to force Shuro into increasingly difficult situ.
Shuro's technique is still perfect.
But it's not pure anymore. That desperation infected his whole approach.
Every exchange demonstrates the same truth. Perfect technique means nothing against someone who doesn't agree to fight the kind of fight perfect technique was designed to win.
Look at Shuro's face.
What am I looking for?
Recognition. He's going through the same thing I went through at my old school.
By 4 minutes, Shuro is no longer the perfect representative of traditional excellence. He's just another fighter, tired and hurt, dealing with growing realization that his understanding of fighting might be incomplete. But something else is happening. Ori is watching Shuro's face, and what he sees there isn't arrogance or entitlement.
Why did Ori step back?
Because he recognizes something.
What?
Someone asking the same questions he once asked. Someone discovering their teachers might have been wrong.
With 30 seconds left, Ori has Shuro pinned against the fence, landing short punches that accumulate damage. Easy to finish with knee to head, elbow to temple. Instead, Ori steps back, creates space, lets Shuro breathe.
He's not trying to win anymore.
He's trying to teach.
Round ends. Crowd expects Ori to come out for 5th round ready to finish. But something has changed.
He's done.
Done fighting?
Done proving his point through violence. He found something more important than winning.
Round 5. Ori walks to center of the ring, looks at Shuro, not with triumph or pity, but with recognition. He bows once, something that might be respect. Then he turns toward the exit, steps through the ropes with same unhurried precision he showed during entrance, ignoring confusion from crowd, shouted questions from reporters, frantic signals from his corner.
He's just leaving?
He got what he came for.
Which was?
To see if he could choose mercy over revenge, to help someone discover truth instead of punishing them for not knowing it already.
The fight is ruled no contest due to fighter withdrawal, but everyone who watched knows that's not what they witnessed. Shuro sits on the mat, staring at his hands, beginning the same journey of questions that once led Ori to walk away from everything he'd been taught was valuable.
Most important fight I've ever seen.
Because of the techniques?
Because someone chose to break a cycle instead of perpetuating it.
Ori emerges into cool night air, away from the chaos of media and confused officials. His face shows the damage from Shuro's techniques, but his eyes are clear.
How do you feel?
Like I finally answered the right question.
Which was?
Not whether I could beat him. Whether I could choose not to.
They drive through empty streets in comfortable silence. The weight of what occurred settles over them, not disappointment, but completion.
The world won't understand what you did.
The world doesn't need to. He does.
You think he'll come find us?
Eventually, when he's ready to learn instead of trying to fix what's broken.
News coverage struggles to categorize what happened. Traditional schools claim victory since Ori quit. Underground circuits debate whether he showed strength or weakness. Betting sites refund confused wagers. Social media explodes with conflicting interpretations.
I came to train. If that's okay.
It's open to anyone serious about learning.
What if I'm not sure what I want to learn?
Then you're in the right place.
They move to an empty section of mat. Ori begins with basic assessment. Simple movements revealing how someone carries themselves, how they react to pressure.
Your guard is too high.
My instructors always said,
I'm not talking about your instructors. I'm talking about what happens when someone doesn't fight where your guard expects them to. See? Perfect technique for the wrong problem.
They work for an hour. Not sparring, but exploring. Ori showing Shuro how to adapt his considerable skills to situations that don't match ideal conditions. Afterward, they sit against the wall, sharing water and comfortable silence.
I keep thinking about that kick. The bicycle kick in the second round. I've never seen anything like that in a real fight.
Shuro's expression shifts, becoming almost shy.
I wasn't sure it would work. I'd practiced it thousands of times, but never under pressure like that.
It was beautiful. Completely impractical. Probably impossible. Definitely unnecessary. But beautiful.
Then why didn't it matter?
Because fighting isn't about beauty. It's about truth. And the truth is that no single technique, no matter how perfect, is more important than the person using it.
I don't know who I am without the perfect technique.
Then you get to find out. That's the scary part. But it's also the interesting part.
Why did you walk away?
Because I recognized something in your face. The same thing I felt when my world started falling apart.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, but also liberating once you get used to it.
Is that what this is? Liberation?
It's honesty about what fighting actually is, what it costs, what it gives you in return.
He's good. Not just technically. He's not trying to teach them to be him. He's helping them be better versions of themselves.
I want to ask him something.
Ask him what?
If he wants to watch me fight you.
Mason raises an eyebrow.
I want to see where I am. Not against someone I'm trying to prove wrong. Just against the person who taught me fighting could be honest.
Okay. But not for cameras. Not for students. Just us. First time we've ever really fought each other.
First time for a lot of things. And Shuro?
And Shuro can watch if he wants to watch.
Mason and I are going to spar tonight. Really spar. You want to watch?
Why me?
Because you're the only person I know who understands what it means to have everything you thought you knew proven wrong, then have to figure out what's actually true.
Rules?
No rules, just honesty.
They touch gloves. Simple acknowledgement between practitioners who respect each other's abilities, and then they begin to move.